to top it all off, I got the basic bitch background of comic book pages on the wall.
Did I just call my background basic bitch?
What's up, everybody? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, wherever it is that you're coming from, welcome. Before I start this next video, I'm going to get something off my chest really quickly and say that that video I uploaded last week, I uploaded the wrong one. So what I did is I recorded it on my laptop like I'm doing right now, saved that video onto a USB and put it onto my desktop. I downloaded an editing software, spent like 2 hours editing that video. Took me so long because I'd never used it before and I was familiarizing myself with the program. Ended up with something I was actually really proud of. It wasn't great, but it was my first time and I was really excited about uploading it. Had some really good cuts, some edits, I changed some things, and then I saved that to my desktop as well. I go to upload on YouTube and I upload the wrong one. And I didn't notice this until like hours later when my friends were like, "Hey Cam, that was a really funny way to start your video by talking to yourself." Anyways, that was in the past. This is a brand new video. I'm super excited about this one because this is the one that I already knew that I was going to do, and I was actually going to start my channel with this one. Every booktuber does this. I am doing the Booktube Newbie Tag today, and if you don't know what that is, it is 10 questions that booktubers will answer about themselves to sort of introduce themselves to the community and kind of make them a little bit more familiar to everybody that's going to be watching. So I'm going to dive right into it because there's 10 questions and I actually prepared quite a lot of stuff to say about each. So anyways, yeah, here is the Booktube Newbie Tag with Cam. I actually have all of the questions and all my notes and stuff on my iPad. So I'm going to be using this trusty little beautiful device to do this video. All right, so question number one, why did you start this channel? So like I said in my video last week, I've pretty much grown up watching any sort of content online, YouTube, Twitch. This is something that I've always done at home. I don't have TV on, I don't have Netflix on, I have nothing on. I'm usually watching Twitch or YouTube videos. So content creation is just something that I've grown up with. It's sort of in my blood. I love watching it. And I figured that if it's something that I've loved to watch so much that I could just do it myself, you know? Like, I also just love talking to people about books. Regardless, I used to work at a bookstore, and the best part was when people would come in and they're like, "Yo, Cam, I need a recommendation." And I was like, "What? No way. Like, I have recommendations. This is perfect." So that was the coolest part about it because I could just talk to them about the books that I read, see what they've been reading and what sort of genre do they like, what are their favorite books, their favorite authors, and then just sort of connect with them on that. So I do talk to people a lot right now already about books, but I just figured doing something like this where I'm just broadcasting my thoughts and my conversations and my ideas about books out into the world and the internet, and maybe these conversations will go a little bit further and I'll have it with people that I never even imagined I'd be having those conversations with. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? I've got to be careful with this one because I said last week that I have a lot of really cool ideas that have never been done on Booktube before. I don't even know if some of them have been done on YouTube. So I know that sounds like, what is he talking about? But I don't want to say anything right now. I don't want to reveal any of those tricks, I guess, or any of those cool little ideas because I want it to be a surprise. I want it to be exciting when they're uploaded. But I know for a fact that if what I upload or what comes to life is what I have in my head, these are going to be so good. And that is right there is just a unique thing. I'm going to be bringing this whole new, all these new concepts, I guess, to Booktube. Question number 3 is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? 100, 1,000, a million% joining the Booktube community and starting my own community. That is absolutely what I'm the most excited for. Question number 4, why do you love reading? A lot of people are like, "Oh, I read to escape. I read because it calms me down. I get stress-free. It's an escape from all of the hardships and all the stress and anxiety that I go through on a day-to-day basis." I read because it's freaking awesome. Just like think of how many stories and authors are out there and how many worlds that you can travel to with books. Like how just the thought of it is so absurd. It is so cool and exciting. And that right there is why I read. Like I can walk outside every single day and I'm on Mulligan Street, and I can walk to the mall and I'm on Algonquin Street. And I know everywhere around me, but only with books can I go to Middle Earth. Can I go to Westeros? Can I go all these really cool places that these authors created specifically for the books that they wrote and the series that these books take place in. Like only with reading can you do that kind of stuff, and it is just so incredible to walk into these authors' minds and just the creativity that bleeds through their words. That is their like child. Like they created that world, and it's so cool to be able to walk into that and experience that with them. And that's why I read. I read because it's awesome. Like it's just the coolest thing that I could do, especially because my mind, I just see what I read. So it's like there's always these little movies playing, and with some good authors like Brandon Sanderson, Pierce Brown, Terry Brooks, people that just write this incredible stuff, it's almost impossible to just not enter into that world with their characters and live through what those characters are going through. And so that's why I read. Question number 5, what book series got you into reading? Goosebumps. I was in like grade 4 or 5, and I walked in to my English class, I think it was, and my friend Brooke was actually reading this right here, The Beast from the East by R.L. Stine, a part of the Goosebumps series. And I saw the cover, and then I read the back of it, and it was like, whoa, this actually looks super cool. It sounds awesome. And before that, I had read like some books in school, like I had to. Like I read a lot of Berenstain Bears. But I went home and I was like, Mom, Dad, my friend had this really cool book. It was a part of a Goosebumps series, and I really want to start reading those. They came home with some more, like they bought me a couple, and then next week they got me some more. And suddenly I was just rolling in Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine. Yeah, it's pretty much how it all happened. I can say Goosebumps definitely is what got me into reading, but there have been 2 other series that have sort of kept me going. So Goosebumps introduced me to it, and these other 2 through middle school and through high school and even college, were just the kind of books that introduced me to new genres and new ideas and new authors that just sort of blew up my mind. The first series is Bobby Pendragon by DJ McHale. These books were, I'm going to stare at it for like 6 hours now. These books were like my entire grade 9 year. I remember when I think about grade 9, I remember reading this series as my first semester, but this was like my first big jump into, I guess, YA. I went to the bookstore in my home city, and I was talking to a fellow there named Bruce who worked there, and I was like, hey, look, this is what I'm reading now. I've read a lot of Goosebumps, and I've read a lot of, you know, just low-key books like that, but I want to go into like teen. I want to jump into young adult. And he was like, have you ever read Harry Potter? And I'm like, yeah, it's so mainstream, because apparently I was a hipster when I was younger. And he was like, okay, I got another series for you, Bobby Pendragon. And I know for a fact I'm going to be doing content specifically about this series later on down the road on this channel. So I'm not going to talk too much about it now, but this book, these books were absolutely fantastic. And then the other series was the Mistborn trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. You will come to learn that my 2 favorite authors are Brandon Sanderson and Pierce Brown. I absolutely love these 2. I will be doing content about these ones as well, but this is what like introduced me to magic systems and political fantasy and just high-end epic fantasy similar to like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. That's what this was. And I just got immediately hooked, and this is what just threw me into the fantasy and science fiction genre. So Goosebumps, Bobby Pendragon, and the Mistborn trilogy 100% are the books that introduced me to reading and kept me going. Question number 6, this one's weird. It's what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? So when I was thinking about what I was going to say for this one, I was like, I don't really know what I would ask my favorite booktubers, because to be honest, all the questions that I would have asked them, they've pretty much already answered on their booktube channels, you know, like favorite book, favorite author, that kind of stuff. They've already answered that, and that's pretty much what I would ask any booktubers. So I would just like ask, I don't know, some really very serious but silly questions, I guess. You know, like Marvel or DC, Lord of the Rings or Star Wars, scale of 1 to 10, how good is Star Trek, signature dance move, you know? Frodo, Harry Potter, Luke Skywalker, you gotta marry one, kiss one, and fist bump one. What do? You know, like very serious questions. Okay, question number 7. What challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? We're getting serious. I mean, like aside from the challenges that any content creator sort of runs into, like consistent schedules and good ideas and stuff like that, I would say staying true and consistent to my brand, which I'm still hashing out. Like I said, I'm a very bubbly and just over the top kind of personality, and that's really what I've branded myself as, and someone that just kind of takes pride in what I love. So that's my brand, and just staying true to that in my videos. You'll notice a lot of what I wear, a lot of what I talk about, a lot of the way I act. It kind of just sort of follows this very smooth brand. Question number 8. When did you start reading? Grade 5. Question number 9. Where do you read? I read literally everywhere. I will read in bed. I will read while there's commercial on when I'm watching a show with my mom. I will read during breaks at work. I'll read in the car, in the bus. I'll read everywhere. The craziest place that I think I read, and that everyone is always like, I don't know how to understand how you do this, Cameron. I read while I walk. So I love walking to the mall. It's like an hour and a half long walk for me, but I love to do that when it's nice out because I get to read. I am an absolute boss at reading and walking. No one can do it better than me. I have literally finished books while walking, reached into my bag, pulled out a new one, and started reading that one too. That's just what I do. So I read pretty much everywhere, and then I read in a lot of places that people don't read. I suck at texting and walking, but I will read and walk books around you. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. No. What kind of books do you read is the 10th and final question. And to answer this one, I actually have a miniature little bookshelf that I have filled with my kinds of books. Not my favorite, but representations of the genres that I read. And here is my little shelf. So, what do I like to read? Like I said, I don't even know if I said it. I read a lot of stuff. Some feel-good books like The Art of Thinking Clearly. I love historical nonfiction, so some Eric Larson, Devil in the White City. This is about the 1892 Chicago World Fair. It is nonfiction, like I said, so it all is true, but it just makes for a really good read, something to kind of take a break from all the epic fantasy. Epic fantasy, some Dungeons and Dragons, Forgotten Realms. I got The Legend of Drizzt here. These books are fantastic. I am a sucker for comics. I absolutely love Marvel. They are my favorites. I am not much of a fan of DC. Hulk is the #1 superhero in the world, hands down. My boy right here. Some more epic fantasy. I love Brandon Sanderson. He is incredible. Some Lord of the Rings. Collection of short stories. These are always fun. After you finish a series or a book and you want to read something short, you got some novellas thrown into all these books, and I got some more back behind me. My arm doesn't bend like that. Right over here. I got some Star Wars and some science fiction. I got some manga, however it is you pronounce it. I'm not one of those people that will fight you if you say it the wrong way, but I got those as well. I love manga. Some political fiction. Terry Fallis, I actually met with him before. He's an incredible gentleman. He's very, very kind. And his books are fantastic as well. And then one of the best authors in the world, David Gemmell. This guy is fantastic. He is British heroic fantasy, and any of the Janai books, or pretty much any of the books that have dressed in it, are just amazing. But yeah, that is the end of this video, and that is the Booktube Newbie Tag for me. What I'm going to go do now is edit this video, and then I'm going to name that video, all caps, "This is the right one, upload this one, Cameron, please." So that's it for this video. I still don't have an outro, and I'm not even going to try and think of one, so I'm just going to say, if you like the video, please like, subscribe, comment on it, share it, any of that kind of stuff. Again, tell me my hair looks good, whatever, any support means the world. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks for watching.